What's going on YouTube? Today, I'm gonna break down for you exactly how I managed to script, record, and shoot a full month's worth of content in a single sitting. So if you're a business owner, content creator who's struggling to keep up with the demands of your current content ecosystem, pay attention because this is really gonna help you out. I'm gonna break down the exact principles that I'm using to make sure that we're not just creating crap content either, that our content is gonna land with our ideal audience. So let's just get right into it. Now, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna focus on one core piece of long form content. And likely this is gonna be a YouTube video. You can do this with a VSL as well. You could do this theoretically with a book or a long form lead magnet as well. But for my purposes, I like to do this with my long form YouTube videos. And so what I'll do is the way that I'll script this video is we're gonna pull out at least 14 direct shorts. We're gonna have some 14 or more B-roll shots. We're gonna have emails, and we're gonna have lead magnets. And all of this too can feed into your stories and even your follow-ups. And so what essentially we're doing is we're taking one core piece of valuable content that's gonna go out and aim to solve one particular area that your clients are struggling with or that your target audience is struggling with. And we're gonna break that down in a way that allows us to pull all of these things back out of it. And so this way you're not having to come up with new ideas or try to follow what's trending. Your content by very nature, because we're working here with a high level core piece of content and breaking it down, as long as we nail this piece here, we know that every piece of content that comes from that content is gonna land with our ideal audience. Now, we're not trying to go viral here. This is more engineered virality where we're stacking up views over time with the right people. So I'm gonna move on to the second point here. Now, where most creators go wrong, where they try to create content, is they just attack their content ecosystem all willy-nilly, or even worse, they rely on ChatGPT to just give them a blanket full of ideas. Now, with this system, the idea, this is supposed to be a light bulb. I have a little Edison filament there. The core idea of whatever it is that you're talking about is going to be the base root of every piece of content that comes from it. The entire success of your ability to use this system is going to rely on this core idea. So if you have a bad idea, you do not pass go, do not collect money. This is the problem where creators are often trying to go viral or follow what's trending. Is the way that the For You page algorithm works is because we have an interest-based algorithm now, you're attracting more people who like viral content, who like trending content. And that's not necessarily going to be your target customers. Could a portion of that audience be your target customers? Maybe, but there's no way to guarantee that. And so you could end up flooding your business with hundreds of thousands of views of the wrong qualified people. And what that does is that in the future, when you do put out new quality content, it's gonna try to go and show it to these low quality ADHD monkey brain crowd that is the greater population, who are really just looking for cheap entertainment and things to laugh at during the day. And so unless you're trying to build a business by consistently going viral and just getting the most amount of reach possible, which if you're a creator, a service-based business owner, an online coach, consultant, or agency, that's really not for you guys. Like, very few of you will be able to sell a premium offer to that wide branch of the market. And this is where most people's creator advice online is just absolute dog shit, because they're telling you to go viral. They're telling you to go broad on the top. That's the worst thing you want to do, because you're training the algorithm to send you low quality people. And when it sends you low quality people, guess what it's going to send more of? When those are the people who are engaging with your content, they're going to come back, they're going to engage with your content again, and it becomes this vicious loop of low quality leads. But when you use this process, when you start your journey off from creating high quality content that solves from the core idea that we're talking about right now, that is a core problem that your audience has on their journey to get the result that you can provide, they will stick around because you are providing deep insight and deep value. Notice how I'm not saying here's 3 steps to produce viral content. I'm showing you my system and breaking down why the traditional systems, the traditional content methods are garbage, and why you, as a very specific online business owner, shouldn't be using them. Now, guys, I'm not hiding anything. I'm fully transparent here. This is what I'm doing, and I'm just showing you what works, and I'm showing you why it works and why the other way is wrong. You guys should all be doing this in your content as well. Now, if you don't know how to find these ideas, I'm going to show you that you can nail these ideas every single time. And it looks like this. If you look at your customer journey, you've got two places that there are. You've got Hell Island and Heaven Island. In short, where they are right now, everything's on fire. It sucks. They've got all these problems. And then here, everything's awesome. People are happy. Now, right now, they have no idea how to cross this gap. They think that if they're going to just jump in the water and try to swim, well, you know what? There's sharks. That's kind of a gnarly looking shark, but maybe a little bit more like a fish. But there's sharks. You got big old waves. And essentially, the journey's just too far for them to take on their own, and they're going to drown. And what your audience needs to know is they need to understand how to make this journey, which right now they don't. And if you look at it, there's a series of steps that they're going to have to take to get from that island over to the outcome, which is what you provide for them. And all of these steps here are going to be all of the core challenges and roadblocks and general goals and things that they need to accomplish in order to go from problem to outcome, okay? And what this looks like in this case is, for me, you have to understand how to produce content. You have to understand messaging, have a good offer. You need to understand sales. And then we're going to have scaling with ads and scaling with systems and people. Okay? In order for you, just for example, to go from, let's say, 5K a month to 50K a month, you have to nail every single one of those things. If you screw up your content, okay, if you have a poor message offer fit, if you don't know how to do sales, if you don't know how to run ads, and you have no systems in place, you may be able to hit 50K once, but you're not going to keep doing it. So these are the core pillars of my offer. Now, if I come into here, you can notice today, what are we talking about? We're talking about pillar number one, which is content. That's why I know it's going to resonate with you guys. And I know every piece of offshoot content that I make from this video right here is going to land with you guys because it's going to be valuable because of this. And if it's not valuable to you, guess what? You're probably not my ideal client. And I don't care. That's fine. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take one of these and we're going to isolate all of the roadblocks and challenges that your ideal customer is facing when they're trying to achieve this pillar on their own. And so in this case, if you take a look at what I'm doing right here, the problem is overwhelmed by content. And that's a pretty common problem for a lot of creators and a lot of business owners, especially business owners. There's a lot of creators that don't struggle with it as much because if you have a creator business, that's your business. That's what you're doing 40 hours a week. But if you're a business owner who has fires to put out, staff to train, sales calls to take, and other things, just a general operations, clients to serve, all of those things that go into actually running your business, you don't have 40 hours a week to spend on content. So what did I do here? Okay, I took the problem that you guys are all facing and I used what's called inverted thinking, where I took the problem and I flipped it upside down, where you have the problem where you're overwhelmed by content. What is the opposite of that? Being able to produce a month's worth of content in one sitting. That's something as a business owner that you can tangibly bite off. Now, you can do that with every single one of these pieces. As humans, we are much more likely to be able to identify and find a problem than we are to find a solution. So this is how you can do that. Rather than try to come up with ideas or ask ChatGPT what's trending or go on Viral Finder, I mean, that stuff all works, guys, to a point. It's better to use those as a refinement tool rather than the source of your ideation. If you do this, you can guarantee 100% that as long as you have your ideal client dialed in, you know who you want to work with, this is going to land with that person. It's not going to go out and it's not going to land with the mass market. But again, remember the For You page algorithm. We don't want to land with the mass market. I'm not selling bobbleheads. I'm not selling sports jerseys. I don't care if the mass market likes my stuff. I really don't. In fact, I hope they don't. I hope when the mass market sees it, they scroll away, because that tells Instagram or that tells YouTube or TikTok or whatever platform that you're on, that tells them that person is not a fit for me. So instead, I put out highly valuable, highly relevant content for you, the person who's watching it. And that tells Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you're at, that tells them that they should send me more of you. And that's exactly what I want. So again, thanks for watching, thanks for being here, and thanks for training my algorithm. Now the next part of this, you're probably wondering, okay, this all sounds good. We figured out what I'm supposed to do. We figured out how I'm supposed to get the idea, but now how does this actually work? And I'm gonna show you. The first thing that we wanna do is we actually wanna come up with a script. I know a lot of people will tell you script or don't script, there's a lot of things, but if you wanna be able to pull this off, you're gonna have to script, and that's okay. And how we do this is we wanna look at our core video, okay? And our core video is gonna be broken up into a hook and an intro, AKA a lead. And then we're gonna have effectively an outline. The outline is gonna look something like this, where you're gonna have a variety of sections, okay? And this really is gonna be the high level, big steps that your audience is gonna need to do to rectify and solve their problem. Where we go from here is each piece is also gonna have sub-bullets. And these are gonna be your little tidbits of information that are gonna be more bite-sized. So if you look at a video like this, we have 4 sections. First, we have the overview of what I'm sharing with you, the system, how it works, why it works. Then we have the idea, and then how to find ideas. And now I'm breaking down with you the script. So those are the 4 core areas of what we're talking about today. Now, what I'm doing here is each core section is going to have a subpoint. The subpoint is going to be the tidbit of information that they need to now understand related to that core bigger point. Every single one of these subpoints is a reel. Not only is it a reel, but it's also an idea, it's a story, okay? This is how you repurpose your content to be able to now take every single one of these. Each sub-bullet is a reel, an idea, and a story that you can tell, which you can be using on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever in terms of short form content. It's also likely going to turn into an email angle. When we're scripting this, we can actually pull directly from it. Now, as you move into each sub-bullet is going to have a hook. It's going to have your main points of the sub-bullets. So it's kind of like the sub-bullets. And that's going to be your ordered list or content for your actual reel itself. And then as we get towards the end of that sub-bullet within your core video, what we're going to do is we're actually going to script in a CTA and a rehook. And a rehook being something along the idea of, if you like that, then make sure you stick around for the next point, because the next point is going to supercharge the first one. And so a lot of times creators will do this, where we layer that on at the very end of a section to rehook you, re-engage your curiosity for the next section that's about to come, to make sure that you stick around and watch it. And so this is how you script it, guys. You have your hook for each section, you've got your sub-bullets, and then you're gonna script in a CTA and a rehook. And your CTA can be anything. You script multiple CTAs if you want. You could have 2 or 3 of them if you're looking for ad variation. So if you want to have DM me ads, or you want to have click the link below ads, whatever it is, where you're trying to mimic a UGC style content, you can use these as ads. You have unlimited ad creatives, right? And so from here, we're going to do this with every single viable sub-bullet in the video. And likely when you start doing this, you're going to realize how much content ammunition you really have in each piece of your core content. Now, this obviously involves a little bit of work in post. So if you have a video editor, I would send them the script and tell them which pieces need to be cut out of it, because you're not going to keep this within your core piece of content. And you're not going to keep this in your reels. Okay, so you're going to be removing and swapping those in and out. But the way that most modern day content works with jump cuts and cutting out the silences and things like that, everybody's used to it. Back in the old days, everybody thought, well, if I had to cut my content, it means something was wrong with it. Guys, I have an automated software that does it. So if I say something wrong, I can just stop and say something else. And there's like virtually zero pressure. And it really lowers the barrier to making good content for most people. And it allows you to do things like this, where instead of having to film 28 separate reels, shoot different B-roll and shoot this and shoot that, and you can just add it all in at once. And then you're doing it in one take. And what will happen is from here, when you start exporting it, you're just going to break them down into different subsections. Now, because we're on a whiteboard, I can't actually show you which video editing software to use, but the one that I recommend is Descript. And how you use it on Descript is when you're editing it, you're going to have your core video. Okay, and Descript is a text-based editor. So what will happen is as you're going through and editing your core piece of content, you're just going to highlight the text that's in the script, and you're going to copy and paste it into a real timeline. And then you delete the rehook at the end of it, boom. You've just got yourself a reel that it has its own hook, it has its own context, and it has its own unique CTAs. And so this is how we can produce a month's worth of short form content very, very easily. And what the cool part about this is that if you're following a standard cadence of, one core piece of content every week, you're going to start being able to put out 3 to 4 of these every single day. And that's how you can now engineer virality. So rather than trying to just take at-bats at the cat and try to go viral and reach the wrong people, we're going to stack these up. Now, if you're getting, 3 to 500 views on each piece of content, you're looking at 3,000 to 4,000 views a day once you start really getting going with this. Because some of them they'll also optimize and will continuing to deliver over time, not to mention your actual core piece of content, which is going to drive a lot of views on YouTube. Because YouTube is now pushing out the smaller channels, and it's a fantastic place to be hanging out. So if you're not here, I don't know what you're waiting for. So the next piece of the puzzle now is, I was talking about follow-ups and emails and all these other things. Each one of these sub-bullets, we're going to take the core idea of what that sub-bullet was. Now, for example, here, I'm talking about how to, take one piece of content and script out to get 500, 300, 500 views. I could use that potentially as an email, or I could use it as a story. Whatever it is, there's going to be a core concept behind that piece of content. And that's going to allow you to create an email with a call to action. So something like a reply-based call to action, like, hey, if you want my viral Instagram reel script that constantly dog whistles the perfect ideal clients for you without attracting the monkey brain ADHD crowd, then hit reply with script and let me know and I'll send it right over to you. Something like that in your emails, okay? You're providing value, okay? Again, see, core idea, chunked off piece of core idea, so you know it's providing value for the right audience. And then you're also giving them a lead magnet that's back and related to that core value. So if I'm talking about how to script, for example, I would do a script on this video about here's the exact script format that I use to produce a month's worth of content with one single core piece of video. Hit reply with script and I'll send it to you. Now what's going to happen is because people are already tuned into it, what I'm doing is I am putting them in motion to take action on the content piece that we already had. And so I'll give you a pro tip here. One of the best ways you can do is once you had this whole thing scripted out, and this is where we actually do use AI, is I'll feed the AI my best performing email templates or my best performing email frameworks or even some of the reel scripts or B-roll caption type scripts. And then you can take your B-roll angles from these core ideas that you've just siphoned off from here, and ChatGPT or Claude or whomever will then take that idea and restructure and reformat it for you in a written format, which is great. So then not only do you have all of these things that we just created here, but you also have several pieces of written content that are going to be highly accurate because you're not asking ChatGPT to go and come up with the information. You've given it the information, you've given it the context, you've given it the value, and now you're just asking it to put the pieces together for you in that specific structure. And so from this, if you're struggling to send out emails to your list, you can send 3 to 4 emails every week from just this one core piece of content. Now, that gives you a huge optionality in terms of quality. If you don't like one, don't send it. If you're somebody who likes to send daily emails, this is really going to help you keep up within a non-sleazy, non-spammy way because everything is rooted in value. It's all give, and it's all going to be highly insightful, again, because idea, story, angle. Okay, it's all comes rooted back to the core idea and going from Hell Island to Heaven Island that we discussed in the first place. Now, I hope you got value out of that video. If you want to learn how to scale your business with paid ads, go watch this video here. If you want to learn how to work with me personally to install this system, a sales system, a routine content ecosystem where you don't have to grind content every single day, then head on over to Instagram, DM me the words case study, and I'll share with you what that looks like. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.